Welcome to Aurora Connects, Season 4. This is episode 12, Aurora's 30th birthday party. As you can see, I'm joined live here with some Aurora staff members, new and long-standing, and we're going to share some of our memories of Aurora with you. We're going to take some trips down memory lane. But first, I wanted to let you know that this is our last live streamed episode of Aurora Connects. We will begin season 5 of Aurora Connects next month in August. We will continue a once-a-month format. But now that some restrictions are loosening up, we'd like to be able to do more in-person interviews, on-the-ground interviews, meaning that the episodes will mostly be pre-recorded. Sometimes there will still be remote interviews, but we're happy to be able to go into the space and get rehearsal footage and things like that to be able to offer you all. So again, Aurora Connects is continuing. We will continue with a once a month new episode, but those will be pre-recorded. As always, I'm Monique Williams, the Associate Artistic Director of Aurora Theater. And you see Josh's avatar there, so he's here as well. And then, of course, all these lovely humans. And I'm going to pass it over right away to my colleagues in Devo to talk to you about our spring appeal that we have going on right now. Felicity?
Hello. So, yes, we are finishing up Aurora's 30th season here. So we're finishing up with a campaign called 30-30-30. That's 30 years, $30,000, 30 days. So for the rest of this month of July, any donations that come in are going to be matched up to $30,000. And that is courtesy of two very generous donors that we have had here at Aurora for a very long time. So now is a good time to get your donations in. If you've already donated, thank you so much. And if you haven't, we'd love to receive a gift from you during this month.
Thank you, Felicity. Every time we come back to the hosts, we're going to be met with this super cool confetti because I'm dorky. Jenn, do you want to say some words about the rummage sale that we have happening tomorrow?
I certainly can.
I'd love it if you did.
Yeah, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow at the theater and in the lobby. And it's just pay what you can to take what you can. We want garments that have been with the Aurora for 30 years to find new homes. And some costumes are probably recent costumes, and some have maybe been there for quite some time. So we are retiring them from our stock and hoping that they can go to good homes. So share the word. Get people down there.
That's so cheesy. The other guests can't see what I see, so I know that there's confetti every single time I come back to this screen, and I'm moved by it. Why don't we do a quick round of introductions so that folks know who's with us today to talk about Aurora. Josh, I'll start with you, and then if you could pass it.
Sure. Yeah. So you're only seeing my headshot here because I am sick in bed today. So I'm gonna be here as much as I can, but I'm happy to say happy birthday to Aurora and really pleased to have our wonderful, brilliant staff with us today for Aurora Connects. Thank you all for being here and for all of the wonderful work that you do at Aurora to keep this company going and thriving as we keep moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to, so I'm the artistic director. I use he, him pronouns. My name is Josh, and I'm gonna pass it to Francesca.
Hello, everyone. My name is Francesca Gabourel. I am the managing director here at Aurora, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm just a few months into my time here at Aurora, so I don't have as long of a history as some other folks may, but I am so pleased to be a part of this amazing organization and to be a part of its future. So with that, I will go ahead and pass it along to Robin.
Hey everybody, I'm Robin Dolan and I am the Senior Audience Services Manager. And I have, I first started at Aurora in 2013. And I'm glad to still be here. Took a year off when I was ill during COVID. Wasn't COVID, but stuff. And I have so many great memories of working at Aurora for all these years. And I don't know, the thing I want to share with you all is the thing about a theater that is such a beautiful thing is that it is a collaborative art. And it's not just a collaborative of the actors and the lighting crew and the stage manager and the costume person, but all of us behind the scenes too, because we all make it happen and we all encourage each other and support each other. And, I have moments where I remember marketing director who was there, 8 years ago, who always used to make us laugh. And, fond memories of the many people that have come through the box office with all their wonderful, quirky personalities that help you laugh when you're going through the many phone call kind of days. So I just want to share that, as we celebrate this anniversary, that everyone who is a part of Aurora history is honored and valued in a day like today, whether they're here or not, because we have all made this company successful and part of the richness of theater. So that's me. Thanks.
I'll go. I'm Cameron Swartzell. I'm the technical director. I too have been here since 2013. I'll pass it to Jenn.
I'm Jenn Ruygt. I am the production manager. I use she, her pronouns. And I've been here just over a year. This is closing in on the end of my first season with Aurora. I'll pass it to Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Schultz. I'm the box office manager, and I, along with Cameron and Robin, am part of the class of 2013. Been here for coming up on 9 years now, and I use he, him pronouns, and I have loved being with Aurora all this time and being able to support such wonderful theater that we put on here. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Roman.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roman. I'm a box office associate. So I'm in the box office right now, getting ready for our show tonight. And I have been working with Aurora since December of this past year, so a few months now. And it's been really great. I also turned 30 this year, so I feel a kinship to the theater, just a few months older than it. So yeah. It's a great place to be. I've been, in and around theater most of my life as a youth. So it's nice to be here working and supporting a place as cool as this. So thank you. Let's see who hasn't gone yet. I will pass it to Felicity.
Hello, I'm Felicity Cowlin. I'm the individual giving manager here at Aurora, and I use she, her pronouns. And as of earlier this week, I have been here for a whole fantastic year, and it's been amazing to go through the process that Aurora goes through, just all of the winds and turns that we've had to face through the end of this pandemic and continuing through the pandemic. It's been amazing to see the work that's been coming across our stage, and I'm looking forward to many more years to come. I will pass it to
Kavitha.
Kavitha.
Hi, I'm the development director here at Aurora, and I started last month, so I'm also new. One of the most exciting things for me about being here is that the creation of works at Aurora, the development and nurturing of new talent. And I'm looking forward to years at Aurora and all of your support. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, that's who we have here now. So I'm gonna flash it back a little bit, show a little video from Aurora's 20-year anniversary.
We're about the connection between the actor, the playwright, and the audience. That's one reason I think people like to come to this theater, because they are so close to the best actors. I like to watch actors work in this theater because I can watch an actor actually think on stage. I can watch a thought cross their mind. And to me, that's really exciting.
The Aurora Theatre began in 1991. I was dissatisfied with the kinds of roles I was getting. I just didn't like them. Playing nannies and grannies, as I said to a friend of mine, and I was sick and tired of it.
She and I and Richard Rossi did a play called Dear Master. The play had been written for Barbara by her writer friend Dorothy Bryant.
We all just said, shoot, let's produce it. We were sold out before we opened. We could not believe it.
When we started, it was a 67-seat room.
We performed in what I call the back parlor at the Berkeley City Club, which is a gorgeous Julia Morgan building.
She just gathered up all these people looking for work and said, come play with us. She changed the emphasis of the theater to the actor.
I was fortunate enough to be included in their first season doing my one-man show called Mea Culpa, Chuck Connor's An Actor's Journey Part 1.
We did Shaw's Candida.
Barbara directed and Kimberly was the lead in it. It didn't take long. We were dating and
the rest is history.
We were married 2 months later at the Aurora Theater.
We were very successful, and we did that at that theater for 9 years.
And then eventually it was clear that our audience was outgrowing the space.
At that time, the city of Berkeley was starting to start Arts District. Coming from New York City, I was really excited by the idea of synergy of all these theaters and arts groups on the same street.
While they were building the Rota and doing all that kind of thing, we put together this theater here on Addison Street. That's kind of how it started.
Great plays, great playwrights, great directors, private jokes, public places, hysteria, eccentricities of the nightingale.
Intimate exchanges. The two of us played all the characters, running in and out, changing costumes as fast as you can imagine.
I have directed, let me see, Benefactors, Dublin Carol, The Old Neighborhood, The Price.
The first play that I directed was Oscar Wilde's Salome.
Bosoms and Neglect, Jack Goes Boating, The Price, did I say that?
We did August Strindberg's Miss Julie, and then most recently Metamorphosis.
And Awaken Sing. So obviously I feel very at home here.
You can do a form of acting in this theater that it's really hard to do elsewhere.
Like watching a movie, you're so close to the actors.
You get to see like the wheels turning, and there's not a lot of theaters that provide that experience.
I love working at the Aurora. I think every actor worth his or her salt should get a chance to work here and embrace the challenges of working at the Aurora space. It's challenging, it's incredible.
The 5 plays that I find every year, I think are always a wonderful mix. We don't have an agenda, except maybe intelligence and craft. I think theater in the Bay Area is really exciting, vital, creative. I'm amazed that I can do this for 20 years and come in to work every day and still be enthused and excited and looking forward to what they will bring.
Wow, thanks for finding that, Dawn.
Yeah.
That's so fun to see Tom Ross, my predecessor, Tom.
Yeah.
Such a big part of this company for so long.
Well, I just was gonna ask about Tom. This video is from 2012, 10 years ago. And I know many of you said you were the class of 2013. But so that means a number of you did get to work with Tom. You got to maybe at least encounter Barbara. I would love to just hear some memories of Tom and Barbara's Aurora.
Wow. Well, Barbara, the last show that she directed at Aurora was Wilder Times, the Thornton Wilder one acts that happened. I believe it was fall of 2012. because it was I think the second show after I started working at Aurora. And so I somehow had not known Barbara prior to that. She knows just about everybody, or knew just about everybody in the Bay Area theater scene. She was a mentor to everybody, and everybody spoke so highly of her. And so it was really a pleasure to get to be around. I was the literary manager at the time, working for Tom, and so I was around Barbara and helped cast the show and wrote the some of the dramaturgy for the show and everything. And she was just so kind and smart and lovely and had such a wonderful way with people and with the actors. So I feel like I was really lucky to get to meet Barbara before she passed. And then I was really lucky to get to spend, so many years working for Tom and seeing, the brilliant way that he led this company and his the great eye that he brought to all of the artistic projects and the way he directed shows and the culture that he created of, keeping the drama on the stage and really focusing on the work and making this a place where artists love to work because they know they can come here and be supported. So I really take a lot of inspiration from that.
What about some of the other of you that got to? I've only worked with Josh as artistic director, so I wonder if Robin or Cameron or Dave, if you also have anecdotes to share about your time with Tom.
Yeah, I started just after Barbara had left the company. So I think I had met her like once or twice, but I didn't have the pleasure of working with Barbara. But of course, I worked with Tom was the artistic director for many years. And the thing I really appreciated about the Aurora and was very much led by Tom's direction is the collaborative culture here. In that, in some theaters I've worked at, it's very compartmentalized or sort of divided. You have designers and they're very much the head of their field. And they're respected, but there's not as much, I would say, like open collaboration, where at the Aurora, we have meetings and it's very open. Anyway, we discuss the art, what we're thinking, and a sound designer might have some ideas about lighting design, or a props person can ask about set components. And it's very neat that it's very open and collaborative to work on the play as a whole, and not very, and that's not true everywhere. And so it was very cool to come to a company where that was very much the ethos, and Tom championed that, certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Aaron was saying. I've had a little bit of experience at other theaters, working at other theaters, and I must say that Tom's general attitude of openness and inclusiveness was a wonderful surprise, and realizing that I could just interact with him just like another person, as opposed to somebody who might have some ego about everything that is supposed to happen. But no, Tom was wonderfully approachable. Unfortunately, I was never had the opportunity to meet Barbara, but I always heard wonderful things. So I'm glad that she worked to get us started.
Thanks, Dave. Robin, were you going to add?
Actually, to add to it, Josh too has very much continued that attitude, and more than just the artists too. The Aurora involves like the whole staff in the artistry on stage. So, we have and we ask everyone to consider reading the plays, and we have discussions about them, and we discuss the art too. So people in the box office can participate, and we're very open on rehearsals and the first readings and stuff. So it's very cool to have that legacy continue too, that we encourage like everyone to be a part of the production.
Right. Josh has taken and run with and expanded upon Tom's open office quality. So we're also very lucky to have Josh here. Robin, you've got some interesting stories.
Yeah, I mean, Tom is just a lovely man, and he would always stop by the box office when he came, because by the physical geography of Aurora, you enter through the long hall and walk past the box office to go up to the offices, and he would always stop and say hi. And we always shared stories about what plays we had seen and what we thought of them or what we were reading. He very kindly, he told me once that he had directed and helped create a play based on Todd Rundgren's music, and I'm a big fan of Todd Rundgren, and I'm sure most of you don't even know who he is. But he gave me a little postcard from it, which was just so generous, He was funny and wry and very committed to the company and to the work here, which was just lovely to work with. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for sharing. Now I'm going to play a visual retrospective from like short video clips. This was put together for us for our supernova in 2020 that had to go virtual. And it's such a dynamic video. So we'll have that up next.
We're about the connection between the actor, the playwright, and the audience. That's one reason I think people like to come to this theater, because they are so close to the best actors. I like to watch actors work in this theater because I can watch an actor actually think on stage. I can watch a thought cross their mind. And to me, that's really exciting.
The Aurora Theater began in 1991. I was dissatisfied with the kinds of roles I was getting. I just didn't like them, playing nannies and grannies.
This is a great moment for a community-activated conversation.
So let's all try and remember to keep our conversation supportive and truthful and helpful.
What could that be?
I apologize for being articulate.
Fine! Engage, you say engage, but with whom exactly?
Some great change must happen here, some defining change.
It's not extreme. It's the truth.
Look in this girl's face and tell me some boots means more than that. All you do is mess things up.
I have a break in my year for a small project. It might be perfect. I could squeeze it in before the Abu Dhabi Tower of Justice and Interrogation.
Well, it is what it is.
This here is gonna be the answer to all of our problems. We get us some business of our own, make them stop treating us like trash to be swept away.
You want to dream, and even if the dream don't work out, even if it don't last, at least it felt real good trying.
All right, you all, so the theme is white trash.
It's no trick loving somebody at their best. Love is loving them at their worst. Is that romantic? Well, good.
Magical thinking. If we sacrifice the virgin, the rain will come back. If I keep his shoes.
Learn to dance life like champions, instead of always being a bunch of beginners at it.
What are you going to do?
Okay, well, we are back. Oh, I love that retrospective so much.
Yeah, it's fun to see a history of all we've done.
Oh, it's I saw the Royale. I directed Bull in a China Shop. I saw so many of those productions, and it's so delightful to see it sort of go almost right up until where we had to shut our doors. So I'm just still so taken by it. Josh, do you have a favorite Aurora production?
Oh, that's like asking if I have a favorite child.
Well,
there's no no good answer to that question.
I have a favorite child.
You have one. My kids are always asking me that question, and I know it's a lose-lose. I mean, I have so many favorite productions. I mean, it's hard not to say Eureka Day as just a play that we commissioned from Jonathan Spector, and that he and I worked together on throughout the whole writing process, and that we developed the play through workshops and readings, and just spent so much time really just digging in and figuring out what the story was and who the characters were and how it was going to go. And then getting to put it all together and give it its world premiere and have it be so well received and so just so funny. Have a scene where people were just laughing so loud for like 7 straight minutes that they couldn't hear the dialogue was outrageous. And then to have it be a play about Berkeley, that's set in Berkeley, that's at a Berkeley school where all the characters are Berkeley parents, and just felt so personal to me and the people I know and my family and my history here as somebody who lives here. And that whole idea of like us commissioning a play that is really about that artists are members of the community, right? And when artists are telling stories that are personal and meaningful to them, if they're authentically speaking to the issues that are important in their lives, that's going to mean something to the community as well. And that was really, really true in Eureka Day. And that's what I loved about Incrementalist as well, Cleavon's play that we just did, that this was another play we commissioned that was very much about what's going on in the community right now. And and the people telling the story are members of the community that the story is about. And I just find that really, really powerful and moving, and really glad that Aurora does that kind of work.
Josh, that is an excellent segue, because I also found lurking on the internet a little video about the Global Age Project. So
wow.
I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then we'll come back and you can talk more about the journey from Global Age to ONG, which is how Eureka Day hit the world, and we'll be in London later this year.
Tom Ross created Gap Festival 7 years ago as a way of challenging playwrights to write about the world as it is today and as it might be beyond the 21st century.
It doesn't have to be a science-related or a futuristic piece at all. We had a play this season that was dealing with a family who had lost a child.
There has most likely been some kidnapping 2 years earlier. The wife is still kind of reeling from the effects of that.
We have readers from the Bay Area that come from all different aspects of theater: directors, writers, dramaturgs, producers,
actors.
And it's great to have a mix of people in the room discussing these plays when we get to the final 30 and offering their perspective and their insight to what makes a play exciting and what makes it work.
One of the things is the audience. Having a really open and understanding and willing audience to get a sense of how that final character, the audience, is going to take in the story.
When I used to live in Dublin, when I was training, every theater would have like a pub that's connected to it, and people would literally argue and fight about the issues in the play. I've kind of modeled our talkback on an Irish pub brawl, and the spirit of that, I think, is really fun. And those conversations are incredibly useful to the playwright to understand how the play is connecting with the audience on a personal level.
I love the discussions that are done after the reading, and I love them because they are not about what does this play need in order to be a better play. It's instead talking about what the play is about, what they see in the play, and that is so much more helpful.
It's really exciting to have a wide range of audience members coming and engaging with the writer under Graham's supervision.
I used to feel like the Gap was one of like the best kept secrets of the Bay Area, and now I feel like the secret's out now.
It's kind of low key, very supportive.
You rely a lot on the instincts of your actors.
One of my favorite parts of the process is introducing writers, certainly new writers who have not any idea about the Gap into the program. I work with a writer, I worked with her for years, and we had a coffee meeting in Minneapolis, and I said to her, why don't you submit to the Gap? What is the Gap? She didn't know what it was. She said, well, I have a draft of this play. It's just a first draft. I said, just go ahead and submit it. So she did, and it traveled through the 230 submissions into the final 30, into the final 16, made it to the final 4, and ended up on the main stage. So that was very exciting. And every writer's journey is different, but just to be able to expose writers to this program is really exciting for me.
I think that we're looking forward to more submissions from farther abroad than ever. We're really trying to bring in as many different global perspectives to the festival as possible. So that's what we're looking forward to next year and the years to come.
I know, it's obnoxious. I could turn it off. So Josh, can you tell us about Global Age Project and the transition into ONG? Maybe say a little bit more about ONG, what that even stands for.
Yeah, it was great to see Graham and Deborah Taylor and everybody in those clips, and Mina Morita and Lauren Yee, who's gone on to be a very well-known national playwright with all kinds of great success. The Global Age Project was started before my time at Aurora. It was started by Tom. And the idea was, when he became artistic director, he wanted to have Aurora start focusing more on new works and on plays that were really, looking to the future. And at the time, it was, not too long after the year 2000, and folks were talking about the global age, that things were connected up in a way that they hadn't been before. And so he named it the Global Age Project. And it was, the idea was a discovery program where they were looking for new plays about life in the global age. So plays set in the 21st century and beyond. And it was very much a discovery program where it was open submissions, and people, hundreds and hundreds of playwrights from all over the country and all over the world would submit. And we had teams of readers who read every submission and ranked them. And there was a very complicated process where every play had to be read by 3 people, and they get scored and then narrowed down to 30, and then everybody read the top 30 and then narrowed down to 16, and then eventually made it to 4 plays that all got a staged reading at Aurora, and we flew the playwrights in and had rehearsals over the weekend, and then did a reading on a Monday in February. And it was really fantastic. And Graham ended up being the producer for a long time on that, and he was. They mentioned this in the video, but Graham is like a master of the talkback. He really loves leading conversations after the play. He has a line about how he likes to base his talkbacks on how every theater in Ireland has a pub attached, and you would go to the pub after the play and argue about it. And so he wanted to have that be what a talkback was, like you're in a pub in Ireland. But what was really genius about it is that he didn't focus, like the playwright said in that video, he didn't focus on did you like the play, or how could the play have been better. It was about, what was this play actually about, and what in your life did it remind you of, and how did that make you feel, and what are the issues that this play is getting at. And it was a conversation about the ideas of the play, not a conversation about the writing of the play. And that, for the playwrights, was super, super useful. And the hope was always that this would be a way for us to build relationships with playwrights that we didn't previously know, and ultimately go on and produce some of their world premieres, and a few plays over 10 years, I think it was 3 over the course of 10 years, ended up getting full productions at Aurora. But after 10 years, the program, it felt like it had sort of run its course, and we were really wanting to move from a discovery program to a development program where we wanted to give the plays a higher chance of the plays that we were putting our resources into, a higher chance of actually getting a world premiere production on our stage, so that playwrights aren't just like going through reading after reading after reading and workshop after workshop and not ever getting to their actual production. And so we shook it up and we switched to what became Originate and Generate, or ONG, which is a commissioning program where we every year we commission a new play from a playwright that we either have a relationship with or want to have a relationship with, or that we think they're ready to write something that that we'd be excited to produce. And usually it's a local playwright. So far, I think it's all been local playwrights. And sometimes it's a sort of unconventional type of play, like Beth Wilmert's Olga Cabaret. And sometimes it's a play like Eureka Day or The Incrementalist, where it is more or less a straightforward play. And we give the playwright as much time as they need. There's no set schedule or calendar for it. We do as many workshops and readings or whatever else the playwright might need. One playwright took a research trip to New Orleans with our funding for it. Beth Wilmert bought a ukulele. Like for Eureka Day, we did an extra workshop with a video designer because the video was so extensive on it. And the idea is to give the playwright the resources they need in the way they need them to write a play that can premiere on Aurora's stage. And then I'll go on. You mentioned that Eureka Day was happening in London coming up. And that's such a success story for Originate and Generate, because it's taking a local playwright, Jonathan Spector, who at the time did not yet have a national reputation. And Eureka Day, our production of Eureka Day led to him getting an agent and getting a New York production of Eureka Day, which was a huge hit as well. And got a Broadway producer interested, and that led to this West End production with Helen Hunt that's opening in September of this play that premiered at Aurora Theatre Company. And now there's going to be interest in producing this play all over, and it's such a Berkeley story that's now getting international attention, and it's a really important story and a really powerful story as well. So this whole vision that Tom had for making Aurora more of a new play theater, I feel like has really come to fruition, and I hope to continue that and keep our focus on telling stories that speak to the present moment.
Thank you, Josh. And sorry to be like, Josh, I know you're sick, but do all the talking.
Once you get me started.
Robin, do you have a favorite Aurora show?
Well, I probably have like 3, but my favorite show was before I worked here, excuse me, which was Trouble in Mind, which I don't remember what year it happened. I think maybe 2011 or so, with an amazing cast. And I didn't know Alice Childress. I didn't know her name at that time. I didn't know about her writing. And a friend of mine had read a review in a local paper and was like, we really have to see this. And it was such a perfect introduction to Aurora, because it is about theater, and it is about being in a small intimate space really shines such a strong light on the racism that was happening backstage with the actors and this director in this setting. It blew my mind, and I was like, who is this theater? So that was really great. And I don't want to go on too long about Eureka Day, but I've never laughed so hard in a theater, except for those Facebook scenes. They were the Facebook chat scenes. And it was so delightful because, some of our audience members couldn't read the screens that had some of the Facebook chat on it. So I would sit down with them with that script in big letters and read it with them, and I could barely get through it because it just made me laugh so hard. So that's my opinion.
Thanks. Cameron, do you have a favorite Aurora show?
Again, it's pretty hard to pick. I guess in the moment, I'll say The Heir Apparent, which was another show directed by Josh. And it was this brilliant and just completely dumb, unbelievable like farce where it was all in rhyming couplets and the props and just everything about it was stupid to the max. And it was brilliant at the same time. It was just so much fun working with Elizabeth Carter and Patrick Jones. Yeah, that was a really fun one.
When you got to build that amazing grandfather clock that turned into a slot machine and had 1 million pieces of gold coins spill out of it at the end, that was amazing.
Yeah. We ordered as many gold coins as we can afford. I think it was like 6,000 plastic coins that poured out of this machine every night. And Josh's initial reaction was, could it maybe be like a lot more? We're like, it's like 6,000, like a big yard of gold coins. Yeah.
It was awesome.
I love that, Cameron, you're there in the theater, hence the mask, and Dave is there in the box office. Another like super fun thing about us adapting to the shutdown was for Supernova Goes Digital. We had 2 of our beloved actors, Michael Ray Wisely and Michael James Asbury, do a backstage tour. And Cam Wise Productions produced that and was the cameraman. And I'm going to play that for us right now.
Hi, I'm Michael Ray Wisely.
And I'm Michael J. Asbury.
Keeping our 6-foot distance, we're here at 2081 Addison Street, the Aurora Theater, a place that many theater artists, volunteers,
and you have claimed as their artistic home for years.
And we're here to take you into a deep dive behind the scenes and make you privy to something you may have never known before. So why don't you come with us as we go behind the curtain. All right, Michael, we're inside. You know what that means? Time to mask up. You know, one of the things that makes the Aurora feel like an artistic home to me started with the vision of this woman. Our dear Barbara Oliver, the first producing artistic director, continued with Tom Ross.
And now with artistic director Josh Costello, the Aurora is proud to continue its commitment to local artists and to being a voice for the community.
Now that was good.
Yeah.
I'll catch you later.
Sounds good.
Here we are outside the doors of the Alofi Auditorium. Now behind these doors and backstage are where the rituals and the traditions of theater take place. Follow me. Hey, but not too close. 6-foot distance. And here we are, backstage at the Pease Green Room, dedicated to very generous donors, Norman and Janet. Follow me. Now, just off the green room are the dressing rooms, and this is where our secret tradition begins. Now, when the theater here on Addison Street was first dedicated, many of the generous donors were able to have different areas of the theater named after them. And it starts right here. First one I noticed was the Joy Carlin dressing room.
So this is how it all started. 2 of our great donors, Hillary Perkins and Skip Battle, they named a dressing room. And up came this beautiful steel engraved plaque, and it said the Joy Carlin dressing room. Well, then everybody started ribbing me about it, and they started putting up signs of their own. My own daughter.
So I can't say for sure whether mine was the first label back there, but it was certainly in the first wave. There was this plaque that read the Joy Carlin dressing room. And I put a sign over it and said the Nancy Carlin, Joy Carlin dressing room plaque. So I named the plaque.
And right below it The first one I ever put up, which was because I used to have to sit here and watch this very intently for my first entrance in the birthday party. So I put this up. Now let's take a look around this room and find out what the other actors have put up.
When I saw that there was a tradition at the Aurora of actors memorializing items I so wanted to play, except there were no items left. But I knew that people kept asking what time it was backstage, so I went out and I bought a clock and memorialized it.
Well, the truth is, I didn't write my name on the wall. Somebody else did. But I was secretly happy to be included. I felt I belonged to this special fun club. And I love working at Aurora and seeing who's been there before me.
Backstage people do not like to go on stage if we can help it. But one time, I almost had to do so to cover for an absent actress. But then she burst through the door about a couple minutes before curtain, and I dashed into that room, and I don't think I've ever taken a dress off faster in my life than I got her costume off. And thus, the Sabrina Lazarus quick change room was born.
And here we are with one of the last ones that was put up last season for Bull in a China Shop by the entire cast. But we go take a look and see what Michael J. Asbury is doing.
The tradition of extending the actor's voice in a more permanent way can be seen behind this curtain in the crossover walkway behind the south wall of the audience. Here you'll find an incredible array of sentiments, all encompassing the history of the Aurora Theater here on Addison Street. But let's take a look. So as you can see, there's artwork, there's autographs, there's all kinds of little phrases here that are on the wall that actors have left here to kind of immortalize their performances, which is great. Personally, I'm a more modest, humble kind of guy, so writing my name on the wall is not something that I would really do, because I'm just not that... Wow, how'd that get there? We're going to swing it back to Michael for a second. How about that? Michael!
Thanks, Michael. Now, I'm here in the men's bathroom at the Aurora because sometimes the naming of things is out of necessity, as in this example by Barry Levine. Now, I told Barry personally that he really missed out on an opportunity to name this urinal, so I'm going to fix that right now with this little certificate. From now on, this urinal will be known as the Levine latrine. Well, Michael, I think that about wraps it up for us. Thank you all for joining us for a secret look backstage here at the Aurora.
I know you will help us continue this tradition with your participation and support as a part of the Aurora Theater family.
The intimacy at the Aurora means that you're a part of everything we do. So what goes up on that stage next, or what gets written on the walls behind it, is up to you.
So from all of us whose names are on these walls,
and for the names yet to be written,
a heartfelt thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, I miss the theater.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
cool is that? Hey, Cameron, I know that you took advantage of the downtime and did a spectacular renovation of that green room there.
Yeah, we had some time, and yeah, the green room has always been a little rough. So we replaced the furniture, we repainted everything, we put in carpets and flooring and tile. But we spent a lot of time. Me and Emma, my assistant, were very careful to document all of those postings and carefully preserve each and every one, or to relocate them as best as possible, because we know it's a big deal. So they're all still up backstage.
It is a big deal, and I'll tell you just how big a deal it is. Rebecca Schweitzer, who is in the current production of Wives, sent to our Bull in a China Shop group chat that's still live a picture of the new things posted there, and then somebody in the chat said, "Oh, it better still be up." And Jasmine was like, "No, it's not up anymore. They took it down." And Rebecca's like, "No, I just took this picture right now. They put it back exactly how we left it." So so just so you know, people are flattered and honored and very happy to know that those memorial things are still standing. I want to ask maybe some newer staff, Francesca, Kavitha, very new, Felicity and Jenn, just getting their like one year stripe, about shows that you've loved at Aurora. I know there haven't been many for you in this time, but what you think?
I'll say I think maybe Stoop Stories might have been my favorite project to work on, I think, just because it was coming out of not producing in person, and we had to do this sort of hybrid work with it. And we had a production company come in and video capture, which we've been lucky enough to work with them on the previous shows as well to offer a streaming option. But that was sort of my, jump in and we're all going to figure this out. And this is a new company for you. And so I think it was exciting for me in that way, that I just sort of got to figure all the things out while everybody was figuring everything out, which is, I think, kind of a fun process when things are very new. So, yeah.
Thanks. Kavitha, I saw you Francesca, please.
Sorry, no worries. I'll just say that before I worked at Aurora, I had watched The Importance of Being Earnest, which was also directed by Josh. And that is is a play that I just love. I've always thought it was great. And to come and see it at Aurora on our stage and see this interaction of actors in a different way was so great. And to also see actors of color in roles that traditionally are not given to actors of color was really exciting for me. And yes, and it was one of those productions that made me want to be a part of Aurora, and has probably helped lead me here today. And I can also say that one of the things that I've really enjoyed as being a staff member is watching the sets be put together. The first time I came to the theater and just saw, the bare black wall and knowing what Aurora produces, I was just like, I don't understand how this all happens. And then particularly for this last show, or this current show, Wives, watching the process of Cameron build this incredible set with pieces that fly in and out is really incredible. And so I definitely commend you, Cameron. I think you're a little bit of a genius, and I'm always impressed by your skill and determination and how you get it all done in our small space. So that is something I always look forward to.
I have to piggyback off of that because
I love all aspects of theater, but I think I definitely lean more towards the technical side of things, the set building, the costumes. I have always been fascinated by all of those things. And so talking about a favorite show, like the whole staff knows I'm super obsessed with the jacket from Stoop Stories. And partly because I got to talk to our costume designer for that show, and I got to take a close look at the inside of this jacket and just the small, tiny details and the care and attention that was brought into just a jacket that our actor was wearing on stage was just amazing to me. And I just thought, well, our actors are out there and they're fantastic and they're putting all this work into their performance, but that much care and detail is being put into the sets, it's being put into the costumes, and it's just so beautiful. And so like Stoop Stories is amazing to me for so many reasons, but that jacket was amazing and it's a work of art.
Thank you, Felicity. Kavitha, I saw you unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, it strikes me, we live in this information age, there's information and media thrown at us all day long, and it's wonderful to have, but it also creates a lot of noise. And what good theater can do, and what Aurora does so well, is creates this intimate space where we can really immerse ourselves in something outside of all the noise outside, and really creates this like you feel like you're intimately connected to the story in a way that I haven't seen in many theaters. So it's wonderful.
Thank you. I saw you, Cameron, also unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to mention with Felicity that it was really wonderful working with Regina on Stoop Stories, and that was really cool to be a part of that process, and she did a fantastic job.
I see that we are getting close to we are at the hour, okay, but we definitely premiered the Wives trailer today, and so I want to make sure as part of this episode we air the Wives trailer. So I'm going to air that right now.
A man's world. A man's world suddenly run by wives, not running for their lives, but running the world. The wives. A man's world suddenly run by wives.
Thanks for the dinner invite last night. It was great.
Yeah, I didn't invite you.
Yeah, I know your husband did.
I am Ernest Hemingway, and I wrote my own eulogy for my funeral, which took place in 1961.
Now that I am a sophomore, I can really speak on it. Like, I don't need to be a master of structure. When I'm not structured in the structure that implies structure, I'm talking about men.
You can do anything I want you to.
You are a delight!
You seem like you would have made an excellent queen. You know, the king had married you instead of her.
It won't be your house for long. I've told him that I want it, and he's drawn up some papers to send you to the summer home in the mountains. And I'll be the one to rule over this, my dream, my chateau on the river, from that chair there.
I will gut you before you sit in that chair.
Ladies!
Husband! Lover!
Who's excited for the tournament?
You are.
He can't do that! Well, he did, and now he's dead. So it's not like you can tell him not to do it. He did it, and it was his last major work.
He can't co-op my own life or his shit!
Of course he can. He's a writer.
I'm just going to... At least he left you that thoughtful card. I'm the bitch, Pauline's the dead one, Mary's the widowmaker, and you're...
We're all just women.
We're supposed to hate each other. That's how this story usually goes. Guess what? This isn't the usual story. Allow yourself to speak yourself into the world.
I love this play that we are currently producing so much. I cannot stop running my mouth about it to anyone who will listen. If you haven't already gotten your tickets for Wives, you must get your tickets for Wives. 2 more weekends. It's so badass. Friends, it is time to wrap up, but Dave, I don't know if you wanted to tell us about your favorite Aurora play.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll say that, let's see, of the many, Lena is probably one of my favorites. With Martha and Stacy, it was such an amazing, with the video up on either side and the audience facing each other very directly, and so much fun with that one. Of course, there's so many here that I've loved.
Thanks,
Dave. Yeah, that was a great one. Martha Brigham and Stacey Ross, both playing Lenny Riefenstahl, and directed by John Tracy with a set by Nina Ball. That was really, really cool. Up in the Dash Show.
Yeah. And I have no favorites because that would be like having to choose a favorite child, and who can do that? What I can say is that I came to Aurora sort of direct from the Oregon Shakespeare Festival that had a resident acting company since its inception. And the first show I did at Aurora was Bull in a China Shop. And from that time till this, those actors have felt like a resident acting company. I've had an opportunity to work with each of them on multiple projects at this point, several during the pandemic. And then similarly, when I was able to do the audio version of Bluest Eye at Aurora, that group of humans sort of rolled right over into the group of humans that built Incrementalist, and again is like an acting company that I will. So working at Aurora has given me the opportunity to sort of put together this like core group of Bay Area actors that I would advocate for in any circumstance, under any situation. We have some of the most brilliant actors right here at home. And Aurora for me is home. I grew up in Berkeley. So I've been seeing Aurora shows for a very long time. In fact, my good buddy, Craig Marker, did The Shape of Things back when I liked Neil LaBute. And it's one of my favorite memories of coming to an Aurora show, because Craig was right out of school and working professionally, and we were all so proud of him.
Tom was very proud to have discovered.
Well, I always say I discovered Craig because we did Prelude to a Kiss together at Pleasanton Playhouse when we were both the students at Cal State Hayward, before anybody else at Cal State Hayward met him. So I would always be like, I knew him first, but he married Jeanette, so there's that. I do want to. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, like, the Aurora Theater, like, it's been so clear throughout this episode that Aurora Theater has been what it's been because of all the amazing people who have been a part of it for so long. And, there's amazing staff members, amazing artists. The Bay Area is just filled with smart, engaged, talented people who care about the world and care about the work that they do. And so many of them have passed through Aurora and have come back to Aurora again and again. And I'm just so grateful to get to be a part of an organization that is so rooted in such a wonderful community. And, you know, we depend so much on all of the wonderful people who have come through as staff, as artist members, as patrons, and as board members and as donors. It's just a very, very strong community. And it's a real privilege and a pleasure to get to be a part of it.
Thank you, Josh. Roman, I see you are back on camera. Were you gonna add something?
Nope, I was just going to be a part of the sign
off. Okay.
Crew.
Yes,
Yeah.
we see you are also hard at work there. I just wanted to take the opportunity to once again amplify the Aurora Theater Company costume rummage sale happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the lobby, and it is a pay what you can to take what you can. Cash and checks preferred. It just says preferred, Jen. It doesn't say mandatory. It just says preferred. But cash and check
You
preferred.
are correct. You are.
So wanted to shout that out. And again, I usually leave it to Josh to do the fundraising plugs, but we do have our summer appeal happening right now, 30 years with a $30,000 match in 30 days. So we have until the end of this month to raise that money, and the generous donor will match it. Thank you all for being here. Thanks my colleagues for joining us, and friends, thank you all for staying connected.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Dawn, for all you do.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Aurora.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Confetti? You doing confetti?
No more confetti.